How did your military nickname follow you home? They started calling me Deacon at Fort Leonard Wood, and my 4-year-old daughter still thinks it's my legal first name. It didn't come from anything holy. My grandmother raised me and said grace over everything, including gas station hot dogs, and I never learned how to stop. First field problem, second week, I'm sitting in the dirt with an MRE on my knees and I mumbled it out of pure habit. Barely moved my lips. My drill sergeant was standing about 4 feet behind me. "Private, are you praying over that beef ravioli?" "Yes, drill sergeant." He looked at the packet, then at me. Then he said, "Honestly, that one probably needs it," and walked off. By evening, chow the whole platoon knew. Somebody called me Deacon in line and that was it. 4 years, 3 duty stations, 1 deployment, and I don't think 11 people in the Army ever learned my actual name. Here's what I didn't expect. The name changed what people brought me. Guys started sitting down next to me. Not about anything spiritual. I'm not qualified for that and said so 100 times. Just to talk. A kid from Ohio whose girlfriend stopped writing. A specialist whose brother got locked up. A staff sergeant who sat on a footlocker 40 minutes talking about his daughter's asthma and never once looked at me. I had no training. I had no idea what I was doing. I just didn't fill the silences because that's what a guy named Deacon would do. And after a couple years, I was actually good at it. Not because I'm wise, because everyone expected me to be, and I got a lot of practice. I got out in 2018 and went to work for an HVAC company in Tennessee. My boss Ray is 60-something and never served, but he hires vets and means it. First month on a job, a young installer named Cody was having a rough morning. I could see it from the truck. And I handed him a Gatorade and stood there saying nothing until he told me his mom was in the hospital. I got Ray to send him home. Ray asked me later how I knew. I said I didn't know anything. I just stood there. One of the other guys heard the whole thing and said, "That's Deacon, boss. He does that." Ray thought it was the funniest thing he'd ever heard. Within a month, he was introducing me to customers as Deacon. "This is our guy. Everybody tells him everything, so don't tell him about your marriage unless you want him to fix it." Then I met Nadia in the plumbing aisle of a hardware store, arguing with a shutoff valve. We dated 7 months before I brought her to Ray's 4th of July cookout. Ray saw her and shouted across the yard, "Nadia, watch this one. Deacon here can fix your ductwork and your daddy issues in the same afternoon." She turned to me and mouthed, "Deacon?" Cody spent the next hour telling her stories, half of them true. That I once talked a guy out of quitting in the middle of an attic in August. That 3 different crews call me before they call HR. He told the ravioli story and got the drill sergeant's line word for word wrong, and it was funnier his way. On the drive home, she said, "So your name is Emmanuel, but you've been Deacon since 2014, and you were gonna tell me when exactly. We got married 2 years ago." Ray gave a toast about how Deacon can hear a confession and a bad compressor from the same distance. Now Nadia weaponizes it. If I've been quiet too long, she'll say, "Hey Deacon, you want to talk about it?" in this exaggerated voice, and it's annoying, and it works every single time. Our neighbor heard her do it and asked. Nadia told her the gray story. Now the whole cul-de-sac calls me Deacon, including the mailman. My daughter is 4. She calls me Daddy Deacon. Her preschool sent home a form asking what she calls people at home, and she told her teacher her dad's name was Deacon. The teacher wrote it down. That's what it says on the classroom wall. Last spring we were at a gas station off the interstate, and there was a kid maybe 19 sitting on the curb by the air pump with his head in his hands, absolutely coming apart. Nadia took our daughter inside. I sat down on the curb about 3 feet away and didn't say anything. He talked 20 minutes. Job, girlfriend, a car he couldn't afford to fix. I mostly said yeah, and that's rough. At the end, I asked if he had somebody he could call. He said his aunt. I said, "Call your aunt." He did, right there. Then he shook my hand and asked what I did for a living, like I was a professional something. I told him I install air conditioners. Walking back to the truck, Nadia said, "That's why they call him Deacon." I never asked for the name. I got it for mumbling over a bag of ravioli in the dirt when I was 19 years old. I've been Deacon 11 years now, and I've got no interest in going back.